10th of May 2025. And this is Radio Doctor on Women Radio 91.7 FM. Radio Doctor is Nigeria's first specialized radio health program where medical doctors consult for free and advise you on women radio. It airs 10 a.m. Mondays through Fridays.
Today's program is proudly powered by TeleDoc, a secure digital platform that allows you to consult verified doctors anytime, anywhere. With TeleDoc, you can book a quick consult for 10 minutes or a full consult for 30 minutes. Choose your preferred time, join a secure call within the app. You can also upload your medical records and receive prescription digitally after your consultation. Every Wednesday and Thursday, we feature trusted doctors from the TeleDoc network to answer your health questions live. My name is Demlade Okewale.
And my name is Fumi Bangala. Today's conversation is one that affects millions of people, howbeit silently. Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. And the reason this topic is so important is because a lot of us are living with hypertension and we don't even know that we have it. Me, I don't have it too, in Jesus' name, please. Because there's no pain, no obvious symptoms, no warning sign. But you find that there are serious complications that can happen suddenly, just like so. When you hear people say, oh, come on, Shelley, just like that. Yeah, we've heard stories of people who seemed healthy one moment and then they collapsed the next moment. And oftentimes, uncontrolled hypertension is part of the story. So today we'll be discussing what hypertension really does to the body, why it's called a silent killer, and most importantly, how sudden deaths are linked to hypertension and how they may be prevented.
Joining us today is Dr. Akaniga Bernard, who will help us understand the warning signs, the risk factors, and practical steps people can take to protect their health. The phone lines will be open shortly to join in on the conversation and to ask Dr. Akaniga your questions. And you can also send your message to 08155 917 917 or 0703 175 537. So do stick around with us. We're also live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us and go to the website at www.wfm917.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into it. Doctor, you're welcome to Radio Doctor.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're very welcome.
It's a pleasure.
So, doctor, let's start with the basics. What exactly is hypertension?
Okay. So when you hear hypertension,
Mm-hmm.
the first word that comes to mind is high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when there's a persistent elevation of the blood pressure, it's what you now call your hypertension. Because with this persistently elevated blood pressure, it actually increases the work load of the heart and eventually damages the blood vessels. And you know, blood vessels are everywhere in the body, and eventually to now damage the entire body when not well controlled. So when you hear of blood pressure, there are two measurements that comes into there. If you check your blood pressure reading with your machine, you will see the upper value as the systolic and the lower value which is the diastolic. So normal blood pressures are like 120, less than 120 over 80 millimeter of mercury. But we start saying it's elevated when it's beyond, when the upper one is more than 120 and the lower one is even more than 80. But it comes in stages. So you could have your stage 1, stage 2, then the very high blood pressure. So practically your stage 1, the upper one is about 130 to 190. The lower one is about 80 to 89. By stage 2, upper one is more than 140. Lower one is more than 90. Then the hypertensive crisis, here you have blood pressure hitting the roof more than 180 over 120. It's of note that there are patients that come down with this these values, this high blood pressure. In terms of epidemiology, when looking at it worldwide, up to 1.28 billion adults worldwide have persistently elevated blood pressure, and about 46% are not aware of this high blood pressure. And more than 2 times of these are at risk for stroke. So it's an important topic of discourse. So people will say, oh, the various what the various causes of blood pressure. There's what you call essential as a primary cause. In that cause, there's no single identifiable risk factors. So basically, maybe the person involved, the father or the mother, or there's a family history of hypertension, or maybe there's a complex interaction now between the lifestyle from excess alcohol intake, excess tobacco intake, physical inability, sedentary lifestyle, down to the environment. So interplay of all these will lead to the risk factors for the hypertension. But practically, there is no identifiable risk factor for the primary hypertension. And this accounts for about 90 to 95% of the cases of hypertension. The secondary cause of hypertension, then about 5 to 10% talk about patients who have kidney diseases. They have this hypertension. Patients who have obstructive sleep apnea. When you say obstructive sleep apnea, you must have seen some patients who are on the big side. You see them snoring at night. They can't breathe well. There's a rebound effect that will eventually lead to elevated blood pressure in them. You see patients who even have thyroid disorders. When you say thyroid disorders, your thyroid disease, this goiter, this swelling in the front of the neck, they also have this for hypertension and several other conditions. So, but secondary causes, like I mentioned now, account for just barely 5 to 10%. And that is why this condition is very, 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 very important. How do people really know that they have high blood pressure? To be very frank, there are times the patient might not even have any symptoms, might be asymptomatic, might not have any symptom at all. And there are other indications whereby you could start having headaches, you could start coming down with dizziness, you could start coming down with even damage to end organs. I've seen a young boy who just presented with symptoms of painful urination and said sometime he had hematuria, passed urine in his urine, passed blood in his urine. And we checked his blood pressure. The blood pressure was already hitting the roof. But at that stage, he already had end organ damage. So there are patients that could manifest with end organ damage. You could see somebody now already presenting with palpitation, the heart's beating very fast. See somebody now presenting with easy tiredness, easy fatigability, exertion. If the person is climbing the staircase, he feels so tired, he can't continue without pausing for a while. Some others could even have kidney affection already. And you see them having reduced urinary output. You see them having leg swelling. You see them having swelling of the entire body. While some other patients would already have seen patients who said they've never been told that they had high blood pressure and they just had stroke. They just rush to the hospital and you check and the patient has a stroke already. So this says that the blood pressure has been high for a long time and already damaged the organs. There are patients who still come down with eye conditions. Like I said, due to the elevated blood pressure, the vessels, the arteries, they're everywhere in the body. They undergo changes over a prolonged period of time. So patients could come down with eye condition, see blood vision, you see them having difficulty with seeing properly. And by the time you check their blood pressure, it's very, very, very elevated. So practically, there might be no symptoms. And that is why it's usually called This is a disease that causes a silent death.